Welcome back to Here to Motivate. This is Shourabh Bhattacharjee. In today's video, I'm going to share how did I quit alcohol, how I stayed alcohol free for the last 1 year, and how I plan to stay sober for the rest of my life. I have been a proud drinker for over 15 years, and I always regarded drinking alcohol as something like a rare skills to have because of my drinking capabilities. I could drink any type of alcohol and an excess amount of it. I could drink up 1 liter of alcohol in one sitting, and I think that was sort of bare minimum because after drinking that much, I did not know what was going on with me, right? I blacked out. I did a lot of embarrassing things and I messed up a lot of relationship. I did a lot of ugly things that one can ever imagine. So I did all that. So this was me till June 2021. I never thought that I'll have to live without alcohol for the rest of my life. I could never envision my life without alcohol. It was sort of my first love. I regarded alcohol as my first love, and other relationship had their priorities, but after alcohol. So alcohol had that part in my life. It was sort of close to me. It was sort of in my skin that I need alcohol to stay alive. It was sort of like that. Though I was not an alcoholic, like I was not an abusive. I did not used to drink every day. I was sort of a weekend drinker, but I regarded alcohol as my first love. So you can imagine what it was to me, what it meant to me. The serious thought of quitting alcohol came to my mind around June 2021. Of course, it came to me earlier as well, numerous times, but it stayed only for about 1 day, 2 days. Because see, every alcoholic or someone who drinks alcohol, right? I should not use the word alcoholic because then you would think that it is something negative. So who drinks alcohol, they definitely have thought about quitting it at some point in time. Not once, but many times, numerous times. It usually happens every time when you drink heavy, and then on the next day when you wake up with hangover, you promise to yourself that you're going to quit alcohol for good. So this sort of thought came to my mind numerous times. So I'm not regarding them as a serious thought of quitting alcohol. So the actual serious thought of quitting alcohol came to my mind around June 2021. And during that time, I was trying to quit smoking. And I have shared one detailed video on how did I quit smoking and how I stayed smoke-free for 1 year and how I plan to stay smoke-free for the rest of my life. So if you're looking to quit smoking, I would recommend that you please watch that video. So while I was trying to quit smoking, it was my core focus. I was laser focused on how to quit smoking. And I got a breakthrough in July 2021 when I was finally able to get out of this addiction, get out of the smoking urges. I used QuitSure app. And there was this lesson on that app that when you're quitting smoking, please stay away from alcohol for at least few weeks or months, because whenever we drink alcohol and if we are a smoker, you will get the urge to smoke after drinking alcohol. So it was already in my subconscious because I studied QuitSure app very seriously. So the thought came into my mind, why not quit alcohol while I'm quitting smoking? Because I almost got a breakthrough and I almost got out of my smoking urges. So after July 2021, I thought about it. I thought about quitting alcohol, but I did not know how to. I did not have any idea that I could live without alcohol for the rest of my life. That was my fear. I could live without alcohol for 1 month, maybe for a couple of weeks. But living without alcohol for the rest of my life, I could not envision that thought. After July 2021, I drank alcohol in about 5 to 6 instances. And during that time, I was also looking up to so many videos on how you can use stress, anxiety, frustration as a tool to get out of these addictions. Because I was trying to find different ways. I was trying to find out different opinions, different perspectives from the world, from YouTube, from different books. And during that time, I found a brilliant book that is Alcohol Explained, and I gave it a read. And it changed my perspective because I was open to new perspective around that time, because I knew that I have to be open to new perspective for me to get out of this addiction, because I know how hard it is to quit smoking. I knew that I had to be open to new perspectives, so that's what I did. I read Alcohol Explained and I understood each and every aspect of it. That's why I'm able to share this knowledge with you, because it is in me, because the knowledge is within me. I did not read it just casually. I read it to quit alcohol for good. And I don't want to have that feeling that how can I live without alcohol? So I'm coming to that. So while I was doing that, I thought of using smoking thing to add stress to my drinking. How can I do that? So every time when I drank alcohol after I quit smoking in July 2021, I used to smoke. And on the next day, I let anxiety and stress take over me, and I associated stress and anxiety to my drinking alcohol. And I thought, what am I doing? So then I started hating alcohol, because see, you have to hate that substance. You cannot quit a substance if you're not hating it. I have explicitly shared on how I quit smoking that you have to hate that substance. So how can I hate alcohol? Because I'm trying to, but I did not get that feeling. So I started associating that frustration, stress by smoking, because I had quit smoking. So in my mind, I'm not a smoker, but then I had to smoke every time after I drink alcohol. So I associated stress and frustration with drinking. And finally, in the month of October 2021, we have a festival here in Kolkata where I stay. I took this oath to myself with conscious mind that I'm not going to drink alcohol from today onwards, around in the October month, while the festival started. And eventually, on October 15th, I drank alcohol. So on that day when I was drinking, I totally remember that day because it will stay with me till I die. So on that day when I was drinking alcohol, I still remember each and every feeling that I had during that sitting, because I was with all my friends in a bar, people were dancing, and I was drinking alcohol. And I had this thought that this has to be the last one, or I might do something. I was just building up stress because I had to do it. That was the only way, because if you want to quit addiction, you have to go through a certain amount of stress. Again, if you want to quit this addiction, any addiction, you have to go through stress. You have to have that mindset when everything seems to be hard. Like, how can you do it? But then you have to do it. So on that day, I decided that it has to be my last day, or I might end up doing something. All right. So the next day, as usual, frustration crept in. During the time I started to plan on quitting alcohol, before that, I had planned for a trip to one of the craziest party places during the New Year Eve with my friends, and it was in Goa. Now, I could not envision, so on October 16th, that day when I finally decided that I am not going to drink this alcohol, because otherwise I would end up somewhere else. I would end up in stress. I was going crazy. So I built up that stress. I totally remember it was intentional. I let frustration, I let stress take over me. And then what I did that day, that I called up my friend and then I canceled the trip, because I could not envision the thought that I could go to Goa, which is a party place, and not drink alcohol during the New Year Eve. How can I do that? I cannot do that. So I called up and I canceled the trip. But then in 2 weeks' time, I started to figure out that I cannot avoid my fears. So going to Goa during the New Year Eve and not drink alcohol is a greatest fear that I had to face at that time. So what I did after 2 weeks, I gained some confidence, because every weekend I used to drink. So I already broke that, because I did not drink alcohol for about 2 weeks, and I started to gain some confidence. And I tried going to a place where others were drinking, and I did not feel that urge to drink, because I was creating my mindset that I will not drink alcohol, and I started hating it. I did, because I learned so many different perspectives from Alcohol Explained, which I keep sharing on my channel through short videos. And of course, I have a playlist on how you can quit alcohol. You can check my perspectives on how I quit alcohol. So this is a raw video. This is not scripted. I wanted to share everything that is in my mind, so that I can see this later and get inspired. And I hope that you will also get inspired and do something about it and think about quitting alcohol, right? So I gained some confidence after 2 weeks, and then I thought that I cannot avoid my fear. I have to face them head on if I have to quit alcohol. And so I had that fear that what if I relapsed in, say, 2 weeks time, or on one fine day I go to a wedding and then I relapsed. So I cannot let that fear take over me. So I had to face my fear. And how can I do that? The best way that I could face fear is to go to Goa during the New Year Eve with all my friends and do not drink a drop of alcohol. So I called up my friend and I reconfirmed my trip. So and I absolutely nailed it. I went to Goa. I sat with each one of them while they were drinking all sort of things, and I did not have the urge to drink alcohol. I partied, I danced, I did a lot of things, but I did not drink alcohol. And once I came back from Goa, I was totally a new person. I have goosebumps just by sharing this story, because that has been a life-changing story for me. And I'm so thankful that I am able to quit this addiction, because now on the other side, when I'm on the other side, I see that my life was a fucking hell. And now I'm living a fulfilled life without alcohol. Alcohol is just a poison. It messes up with your mind and it changes your personality. Now I am totally a new personality. I of course I started building up good habits during the time I started to quit smoking, and now it takes control of my life. I am in control of my life. I know what is good for me, and I figure it out with my conscious mind. And after that, I went to Dubai. I did not drink any alcohol. I went to a solo trip to Kedarnath. I did not drink any alcohol. So I built up confidence throughout the time. And now, after 1 year, I am totally confident, and I get this goosebump, I get this dopamine rush when I think about not drinking alcohol on certain occasion wherein I used to drink alcohol when I was an alcoholic. So it gives me that dopamine rush that it is an opportunity for me to go face my fear and not drink alcohol. So I cannot drink alcohol because not drinking alcohol gives me that dopamine rush. And for alcoholic and for someone who drinks alcohol, by thinking of drinking alcohol gives them dopamine rush. So I totally changed it. I rewired my subconscious, and every one of you can do that. You have the power to rewire your subconscious. You just have to be willing to do it. And I did that for myself, so can you. I'm open to receiving your queries. If you want to do one-on-one, you can feel free to send me an email or drop in a comment on different things that you're dealing with. If you're serious on quitting alcohol, I can definitely help you. I can guide you towards a right direction. So one thing I will say before I end this video, if you want to quit your addiction, you have to take a pause. You have to see what you are doing and what you want to do in 5 years' time. Whether you want to pursue your addiction or whether you want to quit it, right? If you want to quit it, you have to know this, that you have to go through a certain amount of stress, because to rewire your subconscious, you have to change who you are. And it is not easy to change who you are. In 1 year's time, I have changed into a totally different personality. And I wish to stay the same from here on, and I want to improve on a lot of other aspects in my life, which is to stay conscious for 24 hours, which I'm not. So there are goals that I have, which is of course very personal, and I'm going to bring in more videos on different other things, different addiction. I quit social media, I quit Facebook, I quit Instagram. why I did that, how it is helping me out. I would share all that in this channel. So I would request you to please subscribe to my channel, like this video, share with your friends. I want to contribute to the whole world, and I'm going to see you on my next video. Thank you. Have a great day.